Hi there, so we're back again. It's been a few days, maybe a couple of weeks almost, since my last upload, but things haven't been going too smoothly, shall we say. Weather hasn't been great in Cyprus. We've been getting quite a bit of cloud rolling in and things like that, and I've had a few teething issues, shall we say, with the Astro gear. But first up, I just wanted to share with everybody that my website's been updated. I was getting a bit fed up with the blogger interface on Google Blogger, so I decided to switch across and rebuild everything over in Wix. So we'll see how that goes, but feel free to have a poke around on there. All the old articles and everything's been transferred, and I'll obviously update it with more stuff as we go on. Alright, so what have we been doing? Well, I've had a bit of problems with the Astro gear. The last few clear nights that we have had, I was over just trying a few different things, and unfortunately the mount kept misbehaving itself. Well, all the equipment started misbehaving itself. The telescope, the RASA anyway at least, was set up in the observatory in its temporary location still, so I still haven't managed to get it moved on to its final position. But nevertheless, it's great having it in there, having no need to go and set up again at the end of each day or tear everything down at the end of each day. And last night I was back out again, which we'll come on to. But being able to just turn all the equipment on and do a fast start, which is effectively just set the telescope to home, and we were good to go. No messing around doing alignments or anything like that. So it's great to get all that hassle of setting up and tearing down out of the way, and it'll be even better once I manage to get everything into its final position and all the equipment set up correctly. So anyway, a couple of nights ago, or a few nights ago, we did get some clear skies, and I went over and I was poking around on Pleiades. I thought I'd give that a shot and just see what I could get out of there. Unfortunately, what I did catch wasn't the best. We had some issues with equipment and a lot of frustrations, but as we know, all Astro comes with that, so it's what we get used to. But one of the issues I had was PhD2. It kept losing the guide camera. The connection kept dropping, and eventually when I go into the equipment setup, I had been using this ASI camera ASCOM settings for the camera. However, I think that was maybe conflicting with the other ASI camera, which was obviously the main imaging camera, which was hooked up to APT, so I don't know if there was some conflict going on there or there was a bit of confusion in the drivers, but it kept dropping out randomly and frequently, so I switched it over to the bottom setting here, which is the ZWASI driver direct, and that problem appeared to solve itself, so we're off to a good start there. The second problem I had that night was the mount. The CPWI software and the mount just locked up for no apparent reason. Things were working away quite happily, and then I went out to check all the equipment after maybe a half an hour or something like that, and it was just not fully dead, but it was stopped, and nothing would function. I could still slew the mount using the hand controller, but the CPWI software was dead, and the mount was just sat there doing nothing with the guiding or anything like that. And the only way I managed to free everything off was to shut everything down, power off the laptop, power off the mount, and then bring everything up again from a cold start, and sorted itself out after that. And by the time I got that all done, the clouds rolled in during the night, so that put an end to that evening. The second night I went out and I went over to have a look at the Horsehead Nebula, and again I started setting everything up, turning everything on, everything looked to be going okay, and then the mount stopped tracking, and it wasn't until about an hour later when I went back and could see the images getting taken. All had star trails on them, and it turned out that for whatever reason that I still don't know, the CPWI software was indicating that the mount tracking had been disabled, and the mount had effectively stopped tracking, and PhD wasn't happy as it couldn't get sufficient movement to track the stars. So basically I just reset that, re-enabled tracking, and off it went again. And then after that, the same evening, later on, PhD2 started to throw some more additional errors where it was insufficient to get RA movement, and I still don't know what was causing that, but in the end I had to delete the config and rebuild it from scratch again, and that seemed to be the only way to get it to behave itself. And once again, it was starting to get pretty late in the evening, and the clouds were starting to make an appearance, so I abandoned that evening. So that was 2 nights pretty much wasted with no good data. So last night the cloud came back out again, and I get everything set up. Everything appeared to be working fine, but for whatever reason the tracking started to go off on PhD2. Now I am using the developer 4 version, 2.6.9 dev 4, and I was using the multi-star guiding, so I don't know if the software had just got itself a little bit confused and the tracking started to wander off, but I found that just hitting the looping button, reselecting the new star and start the guiding again, it seemed to sort itself out. So I didn't lose any of the sessions, but I just kept an eye on it while I was doing the session. So last night I decided I was going to try something different. I have a 2-inch HA filter that I put into the RASA. I didn't go through the hassle of removing the clear window off the front of the RASA, which I think I meant to do when doing the filters. However, I thought I'd give it a try and see what it comes out like, and then I can try it again without the window at a later date and see how much difference we get on the focus. So I decided to go across to Orion and have a look at the Horsehead Nebula and the Flame Nebula. And so I went into Stellarium and I just had a look at how I could best get the guide or get the mount position in between to catch both of these elements, and in the end I went for NGC 2024, which is, sorry, not 2024, whatever this one here is, I think it's 2023, NGC 2023. Yeah, this is a reflection nebula which sits between the Flame and between the Horsehead. So the Flame number is 2024, NGC 2024, and the Horsehead Nebula is Barnard 33. So I used NGC 2023 as the reference point, and I set off using the HA filter, and I took 50 images or 60 images with that, or however many it was, at 2 minutes. And then this morning I went back, I set the temperature back to 0 degrees C on the camera, and took a set of lights. I had intended to do some darks as well, but I decided not to adjust anything on the camera because I was planning to go back and do an RGB one-shot colour on the same target, and then potentially try a composite pulling the HA into the RGB data. But the clouds have rolled in this afternoon, so that won't be happening tonight. So I decided just to take the HA data today and just see what I could get out of it. So I downloaded all the images off my camera and I pulled into the FITS viewer here, as you can see. So this is the HA data that was coming out of the camera. These are 2-minute exposures at 0 degrees C on the camera, 1x1 binning in the full resolution at 6248 by 4176. So this is 26 megapixels, and we can see here the Flame Nebula NGC 2024, and we can see the Horsehead starting to appear there at Barnard 33. So I went through all the images in Blink, and I took out one or two that had a trailing on them, or there was some significant defocusing on them for whatever reasons, and then I put the whole lot into Deep Sky Stacker. And after going through the normal setup, and took the 80% of the best with the Sigma clipping and all that sorts of things, and this is what it spat out. And obviously, being the HA filter, we can see we've got significant red on the histogram. So I was just playing around with different things in PixInsight and all the different tools and processes and things like that. And I was just trying random different things. So in the end, what I've done, or what I did, is I pulled down the green and the blue to get them, and I tried various different options just to see how it would come out, and just basically lined up the histogram. And then played around with the luminescence, the luminance settings as well, and just tweaking, eventually getting something that came out reasonably not too bad. So I saved that out to file, and then I pulled that images into PixInsight. So I close the Fits viewer, and if I open up PixInsight here, sorry, it's DSS. PixInsight. Yeah, I pulled that up into PixInsight, and we can see. Let me just shut these other windows on the other screen. I'm getting lost. Yeah, we can see here. I flipped across the vertical just to put the Flame Nebula at the bottom and the Horsehead sitting the more common normal orientation, standing position. And then I did some dynamic background extraction on there, a very slight tweak of the curves, and basically that's all we've done with it for the time being. I cropped off the edges, not too much, and I will plan to obviously chop this down. I still maybe want to try and get some more of the nebula cloud out of the centre here, but in the meantime I'm quite happy with how that came out, just as a sort of intermediate playing around. So really that's all we've got to. Hopefully get the clear skies coming back in the next few days. The forecast is due to clear up, and then I'll go back and I'm going to do the RGB on this, and then we'll see how it comes, if I can pull it all together. So that's it. That's HA black and white version of the Horsehead Nebula, Barnard 33, and the Flame Nebula NGC 2024. So thank you very much for watching. Please obviously leave any feedback in your comments, like and subscribe, do whatever you want, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.